I wasn't always a believer in easy gardening. In fact, when I first started, I thought gardening was all about sweat, muscle, and endless hours of hard work. I'd watch my neighbors relax on their porches while I was out in the dirt, convinced that the only way to grow anything worthwhile was to put in as much effort as possible. For years I dug and toiled, thinking hard work was the only way to a good harvest. I'd spend weekends turning soil, pulling weeds, and breaking my back to keep my garden in shape. My hands were always calloused, my knees stained with earth, and I wore my exhaustion like a badge of honor. But, despite all that effort, my harvests were just average, sometimes even disappointing. Then a fellow gardener shared his secret, layering organic matter and letting worms do the work. He called it lasagna gardening, and it sounded almost too simple to be true. Instead of digging, he built up layers of cardboard, leaves, kitchen scraps, and compost, then let nature take over. He told me he barely touched his garden beds after setting them up. He claimed his harvests were double mine, with just minutes of effort. His vegetables looked bigger, brighter, and healthier than anything I'd managed to grow, and he seemed to have so much more free time. I couldn't help but feel a mix of envy and skepticism. Skeptical but curious, I tried it in a neglected corner of my garden. It was a patch I'd given up on, overgrown, compacted, and full of weeds. I figured I had nothing to lose by experimenting there, away from my main beds. I layered cardboard, kitchen scraps, leaves, and compost, added worms, and waited. I followed his instructions exactly, resisting the urge to dig or disturb the layers. It felt strange to just walk away and let nature do its thing, but I was determined to see if it would really work. I resisted the urge to dig or interfere. Every time I passed by, I had to fight the instinct to poke around or help the process along. Instead, I watched and waited, letting the worms and microbes do their silent work beneath the surface. Weeks later, I found dark, crumbly, earthy-smelling soil teeming with worms. The transformation was almost magical. The hard, lifeless dirt had become soft and rich, and the worms were everywhere, turning scraps into gold. The soil was softer, moister, and full of life. It held together perfectly in my hand, and I could see tiny roots and creatures thriving in every handful. It was the healthiest soil I'd ever seen in my garden. At harvest, the difference was clear. Tomatoes in the new bed were bigger, healthier, and more abundant. The plants grew faster, needed less watering, and seemed almost immune to pests and disease. I was amazed at how little effort it took compared to my old methods. For every tomato from my old beds, I picked 2 or 3 from the new one. The taste was incredible, juicy, sweet, and bursting with flavor. It was as if the garden was rewarding me for finally letting go and trusting nature's process. That small experiment changed my entire approach. I started to see gardening not as a battle to be won, but as a partnership with the earth. I began to experiment with other neglected corners, applying the same principles and watching as each patch came to life. I learned that working with nature, not against it, is the real secret to abundance. Less effort, more reward. My garden became a place of joy and discovery, not just hard labor. I found myself spending more time simply enjoying the beauty and bounty around me. My garden, and my mindset, were transformed. I now believe that the best harvests come not from fighting nature but from learning to trust and work alongside it. And every season I'm reminded that sometimes, the easiest way really is the best way. The process I discovered is called vermicomposting, composting with worms. Red wigglers, not common earthworms, are the stars here. Feed them kitchen scraps, coffee grounds, and shredded paper. They transform waste into worm castings, nature's richest fertilizer. These castings are packed with nutrients and beneficial microbes. As worms tunnel, they aerate and mix the compost, preventing bad smells and compacted piles. The result? Fast, efficient composting. Ready in weeks, not months. Add new scraps to the top, and worms migrate upward, leaving finished compost below. It's a continuous, low-maintenance cycle. No turning, no smell, just rich compost. Vermicomposting is simple, efficient, and perfect for any gardener. Let worms do the heavy lifting. Your plants will thank you. The magic is in the layers, lasagna gardening or sheet mulching. Build your bed upwards, alternate green, nitrogen, and brown carbon layers. Greens, kitchen scraps, coffee grounds, grass clippings. Browns, dry leaves, cardboard, shredded paper. This balance feeds worms and microbes, keeps the pile odor-free, and prevents weeds. The layers act like a sponge, holding water and releasing it slowly to roots. No digging, less weeding, and better water retention. Nutrients are released steadily, right where plants need them. You're not just feeding plants, you're building living, resilient soil. This system saves time and effort season after season. Healthy soil, healthy plants, abundant harvests. Creating a nutrient-rich, layered compost bed is a simple and rewarding process that makes use of everyday materials you likely already have at home. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting out, this method is accessible to everyone and requires no special tools or expensive ingredients. By following a few easy steps, you'll be well on your way to building healthy soil and growing thriving plants. Begin by laying down a base of cardboard directly on the soil. Overlap the edges to ensure there are no gaps where weeds can sneak through. Wet the cardboard thoroughly. This helps it break down faster and creates a moist environment that attracts helpful soil organisms. Next, add a generous layer of brown materials. These can include dry leaves, straw, or even shredded newspaper. Browns provide carbon, which is essential for the composting process and helps balance out the moisture from green materials. On top of your brown layer, sprinkle a thinner layer of green materials. Think kitchen vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, or fresh grass clippings. Greens are rich in nitrogen, which fuels the decomposition process and feeds the microbes that break everything down. It's important to avoid adding meat, dairy, or oily foods to your compost bed. These items can attract pests and create unpleasant odors, making your composting experience less enjoyable. Continue building your bed by alternating brown and green layers. Each time you add a layer, gently water it to keep everything moist but not soggy. Repeat this process until your bed reaches the desired height, usually about a foot or more. Always finish with a thick brown layer on top. This final layer acts as a protective blanket, helping to keep pests away, retain moisture, and prevent odors from escaping. For an extra boost, you can add a layer of finished compost or good quality garden soil on top. This provides a perfect seed bed for planting and introduces beneficial microbes right from the start. Your layered cake of compost is now ready for nature to do its work. Earthworms and microbes will move in, breaking down the materials and transforming them into rich, dark compost. This process is not only simple and effective, but also incredibly low cost. It's a sustainable way to recycle kitchen and garden waste, turning it into something valuable for your plants. In just a few weeks, your garden bed will be alive with beneficial insects, worms, and healthy soil microbes, all working together to support lush plant growth. With patience and care, you'll soon have rich, crumbly compost ready to nourish your garden and help your plants thrive. This method is versatile. Use it 3 ways. First, build a compost heap in a shady spot. Layer browns and greens, add worms, and harvest compost as needed. Second, build layers directly in your garden bed. Plant right into the top layer for instant results. Roots grow down through nutrient-rich layers, saving you time and effort. Third, make compost tea-steep finished vermicompost in water for 24-48 hours. Dilute and use as a liquid fertilizer for a quick plant boost. Apply to soil or leaves for fast results. These 3 methods, heap, direct bed, and tea, maximize your organic resources. No waste, just continuous fertility. Your garden will thrive with minimal effort. Layered vermicomposting adapts to any space. Red wigglers are the composting champions, easy to find and perfect for layered systems. They thrive in decaying organic matter, not plain soil. Give them food, moisture, and shelter from extreme temperatures. Your layered bed provides all 3. Keep the bedding as moist as a wrung-out sponge. Add new scraps and browns regularly to keep worms moving upward. Avoid overfeeding acidic foods like citrus or onions. Check moisture weekly, especially in hot weather. A top layer of straw or leaves helps conserve moisture. Healthy worms multiply quickly, turning waste into compost. No special equipment needed, just the right environment. With basic care, your worm population will thrive. They'll keep your compost system running smoothly. Your vermicomposting system evolves with the seasons. In spring, add fresh greens and browns to fuel worm activity. Summer means monitoring moisture, water as needed, and provide shade if it's hot. In autumn, collect fallen leaves for thick brown layers, perfect insulation and food. Winter slows worms down, but a big pile and leaf mulch keep them safe. Keep adding kitchen scraps to the center where it's warmest. Simple seasonal tweaks keep your system productive year-round. No need to start over, just refresh and maintain. Your soil gets better every year. Healthy compost, healthy garden all year long. Even simple systems have pitfalls. Here's how to avoid them. Don't overwater or underwater. Keep the pile damp, not soggy. If it's too wet, add dry browns. If too dry, water more. Only add plant-based scraps, no meat, dairy, or oily foods. Avoid grass clippings treated with chemicals. Use compost tea within 48 hours for best results and always dilute. Don't expect instant results. Composting takes time. Resist digging into the pile, let worms and microbes work undisturbed. Trust the process, nature knows what it's doing. With patience and the right ingredients, success is guaranteed. Avoid these mistakes, and your vermicomposting journey will be smooth. Healthy worms, healthy compost, happy gardener, let nature do the heavy lifting. You now have the tools and inspiration to transform your garden into a thriving, living ecosystem using layered vermicomposting. This approach isn't just about growing plants, it's about nurturing the soil, supporting beneficial organisms, and creating a space where nature flourishes alongside your efforts. It's more than a technique. It's a partnership with nature, where every handful of compost and every layer you build brings you closer to a healthier, more resilient garden. Start small. Pick one bed, gather kitchen scraps, autumn leaves, and other organic matter, and begin building your first layers. Don't worry about perfection. Nature is forgiving, and will reward your efforts as you learn and grow. Add worms to your compost layers, and watch as your soil comes alive with activity. These tiny helpers break down organic material, enrich the earth, and create the perfect environment for roots to thrive. Soon you'll notice less weeding, less watering, and more vibrant, robust plants. The soil will retain moisture better, and weeds will struggle to compete with your healthy crops. Your food will be healthier, your waste reduced, and your soil renewed with every season. You'll find yourself harvesting more while sending less to the landfill. This method connects you deeply to the cycles of nature. You'll witness firsthand how organic matter transforms, how worms and microbes work together, and how your garden responds to your care. The results are undeniable. Stronger plants, richer harvests, and a sense of satisfaction that comes from working in harmony with the earth. Your garden will become a place of abundance and beauty. You're not just growing vegetables, you're cultivating life, building a legacy of healthy soil and sustainable practices for years to come. Double your harvest, reduce your effort, and rediscover the magic and wonder of gardening as you watch your efforts multiply. Try it today. Your garden will thank you, and you'll find joy in every step of the process. Nature is ready to help, offering its support through every worm, every raindrop, and every ray of sunlight. Embrace abundance one layer at a time, and watch your garden and your connection to nature grow deeper with each passing season.